Data is becoming a more and more hot topic within the industry, and to find out more, I'm here with Accenture and their North American A&D digital lead, Joyce Kline. It's great to see you here. First of all, tell us why you were here at Farnborough.
Oh my goodness, what a wonderful question. So Accenture, we're a 700,000 person organization. We do consulting, operations, technology, and we are here as our global aerospace and defense practice, bringing the solutions that we deliver in the marketplace. We work with the OEMs and tier one manufacturers, driving change and transformation within the aerospace and defense industry.
Well, on the topic of change then, what are the big changes do you think in aerospace and defense sectors over the next, let's pick decade, why not 10 years?
Goodness. There's a lot of change that we anticipate happening over the next decade. I think one of the things that you'll see behind me, for example, these are demos around the metaverse continuum. And these demos show how technology is going to fundamentally change how activities are being done within aerospace and defense companies. So let's take, for example, how a worker gets their job done. They could be trained using a Oculus headset. They could learn new ways of using the technology just by embracing some of this newer ways of doing business.
Change can often be interpreted as a challenge, can't it? And I know other words to use for challenge as well, but what challenges do you think there are for both manufacturers, say airlines, and also the wider ecosystem as well?
Yeah, I think we'll use the term opportunities that might exist in the marketplace. Clearly, some of those opportunities are around how to drive innovation, how to sustain that innovation. And I think one of the key things that we're seeing from the standpoint of technological change is that there's a need for embracing things like data and digital transformation. There's new ways of doing things. Speed of technology is now happening at an incredible rate. So how can we harness some of that to actually bring about change that impacts how people get their jobs done? And this can be things around how a worker, does their tasks. There's automation that we can bring about. There's AI that can occur, driving insights from data to basically change and fundamentally have a process being done differently today than it was in the future, in the past. And then getting to the future in terms of the change occurring over the next decade, we get to ways of doing business quicker, faster, and easier. That's what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, we're all consumers. We're all wanting things to exist on the weekend when we can go and buy something very quickly from Amazon. We want that same experience as an employee within aerospace and defense.
You kind of answered the question really, but how is digital technology maybe reshaping the industry, and where's it going to go? Eventually, what's the final point, or will there ever be a final point to it?
Ooh, my prediction, there is not a final point. I think that this is an industry that's based on innovation. The foundation of it, going back many, many years, is all about change and transformation. And there's so many things that are happening that are impacting the industry. Let's just take the sustainability challenges. Net zero by 2050. That's a big change and technology-driven change that'll occur within many of the companies that are happening. One of the demos that we have here is about supply chain. Supply chain is the core of the A&D industry. We need to get it right. We need to provide greater transparency of information. We need greater collaboration across the various partners that make up the industry so that we can get product as predicted when is necessary, right, for production, so that ultimately at the end of the day we get the product to the ultimate end customer, whether that's a commercial customer or it's somebody out on the, as a war fighter, out there defending a country.
And that could be a lot to do with sharing of data, can't it? And sharing of information. What are the particular hurdles when it comes to sharing of data? I can probably think of a few off the top of my head, but
I'm sure. Fundamental to data is the aspect of I need to feel like I can share it. I need to feel like I can actually be confident in the quality of that data. And then when you really get down to it, there's just barriers that have been built up over the years. And some of those barriers are, why should I trust you? Right? What are you going to do with that data if I give that data to you is one aspect that we need to break down that school of thought, in terms of the couple of issues that you mentioned that are causing the challenges. Another one is also around the aspect of once that data is available, how's that data being used? So I might feel I own that data because of where I sit within the broader ecosystem. And if I feel I own it, why do I want to share it? But when we share the data, you actually get to greater uses, power of AI comes in place as well, and that power of AI can ultimately transform all the way back to the design of the next iteration of a particular component. So the whole aspect of getting the data right, what we'll call the data foundation, all the way to the aspects of sharing that data and all of the uses of that data, just make it so fundamental to the industry.
It seems like this is a very, not a young industry, but it requires young brains, young minds. But I guess you have to have the balance between the young minds and the old heads as well. So what's the future workforce going to look like when it comes to your industry or your side of the industry?
Yeah, no, future workforce is really going to be so evolutionary as we move forward. And you're absolutely right in that generational gap that exists between workers that have had a significant amount of seniority to the brand new employee who's just joining right out of school. I think fundamental is that we need to find ways to have there be collaboration across the ages, if you will, and some of the ways that we can bridge that gap is through the uses of technology. You know that a new person entering the workforce is so technology savvy, they're a digital native, they can pick up an Oculus headset that we have behind us here and just know how to use it and how to get everything out of it. What we're seeing also is the need to use that information in terms of how organizations train their employees. So we see workforce transformation as a result of that. I'll share with you at Accenture, we're embracing the metaverse in terms of onboarding our new employees by giving them Oculus headsets and having them go through training via the metaverse. So we see that being an opportunity to extend that to many organizations across the A&D ecosystem.
So embracing technology, embracing collaboration, that's the future. It's been a real pleasure, Joyce. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation. Very much appreciated.